Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Megan from Modern Moon Quilt Studio, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to take your fabric scraps and turn them into these eco-friendly beeswax wraps. Let's go over everything you're going to need to make these DIY beeswax wraps. First thing is 100% cotton fabric. Just make sure it's clean fabric, and do know that whatever fabric you choose is going to become darker and more yellow with the beeswax coating. You're also going to need something to cut that fabric with, so either some pinking shears or a scalloped rotary blade like I'll be using. You're also going to need a glass jar and a cheap paintbrush that you don't mind throwing away. And then also some wax paper or parchment paper and a baking tray. And last but not least, you're going to need the beeswax. I'll be using this beeswax bar, which is a pre-made blend of beeswax, jojoba oil, tree resin, and coconut oil. And it provides just the right amount of flexibility and stickiness that's perfect for these reusable food wraps. And I'll be sure to link this in the notes below. To get started, we need to first melt the wax, and according to package directions, this wax needs to be melted in a double boiler. So we're going to do that by putting this beeswax bar into the glass jar and then into a small pot and filling that pot about halfway up with water and then bringing that to a boil over medium to high heat. And you'll just let that sit until the wax is completely melted, stirring occasionally as needed. And while that melts, we're going to get our fabric ready. Now, to get this fabric ready, we're going to take our clean cotton fabric and our pinking shears or scalloped rotary blade and cut it down to size. And the cool thing about these is they are completely customizable. You can make them whatever shape and size is going to work best for you in your kitchen. I would suggest having a variety of sizes for a couple different uses. Small, medium, and large wraps would be great. Small would be about 7 to 8 inches, which is great for small snacks and wrapping up a half-cut piece of fruit or a vegetable. A medium wrap is about 10 to 11 inches, and that's perfect for wrapping up a sandwich for lunch or a small bowl. And then a large wrap would be about 13 to 14 inches, and that's great for covering large bowls or wrapping up a loaf of bread. Once your fabric is cut and the beeswax is completely melted, it's time to coat the fabric with the beeswax. To do that, lay your fabric on top of the wax paper and then using your inexpensive and disposable paintbrush, brush a nice even coat of the melted wax on top of the fabric. Now, ideally, the wax should completely saturate the fabric so that both sides of the fabric are getting waxed, but chances are your wax is going to cool really quickly like you're seeing here, and you're just going to get one thick coat on top of the fabric. This is completely fine, and it's going to get resolved when we go to put it in the oven in the next step. Just make sure you're getting an even coat and make sure you're covering those edges to keep it from fraying. Once you have the beeswax brushed onto the fabric, pick up the fabric and move it onto a baking sheet or a cookie tray and put it into an oven preheated to 250 degrees. You're going to let it sit in there for just a few minutes until the wax is completely melted and the fabric is saturated so that both sides of fabric are getting waxed. Now this part can get a little tricky. Before the wax has any chance to cool, carefully pull it off of the tray, and you can hang these up to cool and dry, but I have found that the wax cools really quickly and it only takes about 30 seconds for it to set up. So I just hold it for a few seconds until it starts to set, and then once they're completely cool, these wax wraps are ready to go. Freshly made wraps aren't super sticky and pliable right out the gate, so the best way to get these things ready to use is to just crumple them up into a tight ball. Just a little bit of warmth from your hand and the crinkling gets the waxes and resins in this blend nice and sticky and pliable and ready to go. And then from there you can use these wraps to wrap up a cut piece of fruit or cover a bowl or wrap up a loaf of bread or a sandwich. The only food I wouldn't use these wraps with is something like raw meat, since these wraps aren't designed to be disinfected with hot soap and water. Applying any type of heat to these wraps is just going to melt the waxes and just degrade the quality of the wrap. So to clean these wraps, use cool water and just a mild soap and let them air dry. And when it comes to storing, just keep them folded in a drawer and they'll be ready to use whenever you need them. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more tutorials on quilting, sewing, and little scrap busting projects like this one. Thank you so much and have a great day.